Hello, hello. Yeah, it seems like you are the first 33 or binary, whatever you want to be called. How's it going? How is it going? How's it going, everyone? I forgot to. Oh, I forgot to set. Yeah, I should have set the title. Let's see. Should have set the title. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Should be. And drop me. Let's go. Yeah, I should have set the description correctly. Nice glasses, they look pimp. Yeah, I don't know. Those are the only ones that I have that do not show my infected eye. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this actually. How's everyone doing? How is everyone's weekend today? How are you doing, folks? We're gonna keep it like this for today. We're gonna keep it like this until this gets resolved. I'm pretty sure that tomorrow my eye is gonna be completely okay. So I wouldn't have to wear these then. How about you folks? How have you been doing? Let me also chime in into my Facebook. I don't know why. When I use my Facebook's page and log in, it logs me out. It just says, please log in, expired, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what's wrong with Facebook. Super sad. Super sad. Clear cache, clear storage. Yes, please. Let's go on. It breaks when it's November, so keep your away for the month. What is SO? Is that Stack Overflow or something else? What am I missing there? Well, Facebook is being so weird, so weird. Super weird. Significant other. Why do I have to do that for November? What does it have to do with November? I don't get it. Is it because of, I don't know. Do we get a lot of infections during November or what? All right, everyone. Let's go. I'm gonna get a glass of water as well. But yeah, I think before we begin, we gotta rephrase or kind of revisit where we were last time. So we did implement some Angular applications, and I have got a really good news for you as well. Although I'm not gonna reveal it for now, but it's something that is quite interesting. Maybe in the next stream. It's pretty new to me right now, but hopefully in the next stream I'm gonna be able to tell you. But yeah, as far as what I've been doing in the past few days, my infection started on Thursday, and then it went on to Friday, and then it was a bit of pain Saturday as well, I wanted to stream Saturday but could not. Markandi Sharma, hey, how's it going? How are you doing today? How about Halloween? Halloween is over, right? I think it was yesterday. Or maybe it's still going on. I'm not sure. Maybe it was yesterday. Did you folks celebrate Halloween? I can see a couple of people like Zuhaib, Mehdi as well. On Facebook, how have you been doing? It's almost night time in Pakistan. But it's... Bro, I'm weak in coding. What to do? Really good question. And the answer is that you need to practice. It's similar to if you are weak in chess, what would you do? Or if you are weak in playing cricket, what would you do? How can you become better? It's by practice. You practice a lot, you work on your skills, you solve different problems, and that's how you get better at it. Simple. If you think there is some sort of pill or some sort of tablet or some sort of medicine that you can just take and then you get better, that's not something. Practice is something I do not like, then you cannot be better at coding. I would suggest just leave coding and do not do it again if you don't like practice. Learning logic doesn't matter. It's similar to if you're becoming an engineer, and if you're just reading everything and you do not apply it on the field, it doesn't matter. Similarly, if you learn the logic all about cricket or football and you just keep learning and watching videos and you do not practice, it doesn't matter what you do. You should rather do something else. So yeah, without practice, you cannot be better. It doesn't matter what subject you have as main. It does not matter. So if you don't practice whatever you're learning, whether it's a subject, whether it's a skill set, if you're just reading and not practicing, then you cannot be better. The only difference between you and me is I have practiced a lot. I have solved a lot of problems. I have created a lot of projects. And yeah, simple. That's it. From where you are, I'm originally from Pakistan. Right now I'm in Stockholm, Sweden. Yeah, it's all about practicing. I mean, if you want to get better at any skills, whether I mean, if even if it's technical or if it's not technical, it doesn't matter. If you want to be good at something, you need to practice. You need to spend time. You need to practice. You need to become good at that skill by working through it. Imagine, let's say you're learning basketball, because I've played basketball in my university days. So I remember that initially when I used to run with the ball, it was so difficult. But then as I practiced through it, I wasn't really good at basketball, of course, but I became better than what I was in the initial days or when at the beginning, of course. But there was a time that when I didn't have to think about where the ball is and I could just run with the ball really easily. And that is all muscle memory. It's all muscle memory. It's all practice. October shirt you are wearing. Yes. Yes, exactly. So this is the shirt from 2020. I have actually finished the Hacktoberfest challenge for 2021. So we're gonna be looking for another one this year. That's gonna be super awesome. How about you folks on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube? What has your week been? Or how has your week been? How has your weekend been? Have you relaxed a lot? Have you worked on something cool that you want to share? How has it been? Has it been relaxing? My PR will be mature in 5 days. That sounds super cool. Awesome. That is so good to hear. Symptom is asking, what are we doing today? We have a command of exclamation today. And you can also see in the title. But essentially what we are doing today is we are going to continue working on this modern web application that we were building in the last stream on Wednesday. And we are going to continue working on it. We're going to continue making it better. We're going to continue with the authentication logic on this one. We're also going to look into some further logic than just using the hard-coded logic. Yeah, it's the Help Me app. Exactly. We're going to continue working on this. Yes. In the meantime, I also did some other things as well. I'm not sure if you're going to be interested in that, but while I wasn't able to see the screen a lot, I'm glad that I found this, and then I just used it. Why switch from React to Angular? Really good question. One of the things that I want to do is to scale this application a lot and to not worry about what kind of router I'm going to be using, what kind of libraries I'm going to be using. And also I wanted to try out the latest Angular version, which is 13. So I could do it with another application, or I could do it with this Help Me app. So since I'm already working on it, I thought it would be better to have a look at what this application is. And also how Angular 13 makes it faster. So I have to try out a couple of features that they are also pushing. And it has been quite some time since I actually worked on an Angular or a huge Angular application. And I'm imagining this is going to be a big one. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And it really makes it easier for me to be fast at that as well. I'm looking at the chat. So it looks like great conversation skill you should deserve more, sir. Thank you. I also recommended to not do them because you learn the basic of something in that language is trying to play with that. Yes, exactly. That's actually right. I think unless you get your hands dirty, you get into things, you try out different things, it's not really helpful. So anyways, let me quickly show you what I have been working on for the past few days. So I actually migrated my site, which is asanias.com, from Gatsby.js to Next.js. It was quite an interesting thing to do because I had to migrate a couple of things. There are still some things that are broken right now. For instance, a newsletter thing, it doesn't work. But I actually got some features out of the box by migrating to this template. For instance, I can now search articles on my site just by doing this without having to implement anything new. Similarly, there were some other things like there was one thing that I was missing in this new template, but then I had to implement it myself. For instance, there is this module which generates these thumbnails out of the box. And I need to turn on my pointer application, just like this. There we go. Yeah. So, Obed, how's it going? Hello, hello. But I do recommend Coding with Mosh though. Yeah, awesome. Definitely. Coding with Mosh is a really good channel as well. So I was working on this particular thing, which is if I don't have a thumbnail for a particular blog post, I can generate it on demand using some packages. So this is something that is done programmatically. This thumbnail is generated for any of the blog posts that do not have a featured image per se. So I think I'm going to be creating a video on that as well, in terms of how you can implement that within Next.js per se. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really interesting little project. So I migrated this, and I also migrated the CodeWithAhsan organization or the CodeWithAhsan community to a similar, if I'm correct, and if, oh, it seems broken. Interesting. Loading chunk failed. Loading chunk failed. Cool. This is not what I was expecting. So the www works fine, but the other one doesn't. I shall leave now. Adios. All right. See you later. Cool. So this one looks good. I'm gonna have to see why the usual one doesn't work. Yeah, this one doesn't work. All right. I'm gonna have to see if my DNS actually redirects it to the right URL. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does not. All right. I'm gonna have to see. Symptom, what I need to know is if I want to get a job as an intern or junior with React, like your own opinion. What do I need to know? I think all you need to know is just a good company. I mean, just try to find out what kind of jobs are there, what companies do provide internships, what technologies they do provide internships on, and then just go with that. It's really easy to find those if you know the websites that they post on. You're talking about knowledge, then it depends. It really depends. I mean, if you're going as an intern, I think you should have a good idea of the basic programming skills. Like you should be familiar with a bit of JavaScript. You should have a really good idea of the basics, like how do for loops work, how does array work, how does strings work. You should have the basic idea of a particular language that you're targeting. If you're going for React or Angular, then you should at least know JavaScript, right? It's really good if you know React or Angular, whatever you're targeting. But if you're going with just the knowledge of JavaScript, then that's fine also. Now that would then depend on the interviewer itself. The interviewer could decide to ask questions from you based on JavaScript. They could ask you really basic questions like, how many kind of loops are there in JavaScript? When would you use while? When would you use, let's say, do while? Similarly, they could ask you to write a program, for instance, let's say finding or creating a palindrome or finding if a string is a palindrome or not. Similarly, a program to write or find out prime numbers within a set of array. They could also say something like, hey, if I give a function a number, let's say 5 or 10, then it should generate 10 prime numbers as an array, similar to that. So I would say that, yeah, exactly. So if you do your JavaScript course and you do lead code easy solutions, if you practice your solutions, I think you're gonna nail the JavaScript interview for sure. So I don't believe that's gonna be an issue if you have practiced your way before you go to the interview. So yeah, I did upload a video recently about the same thing, that if you're gonna go for an interview, you need to do 3 things. The first is obviously to do some research on the kind of interview or the kind of company that you're going for. The second is that you need to make sure that interesting. The second thing is that you need to make sure oh, you watched it? Awesome. Then I don't have to explain it. Cool. All right. We got this guy. We got CodeWithAhsan, view. Should have CWA web, and this should also have a domain redirect, which is not working for some reason. What? So it's okay. So this should work in that case, but it doesn't. It does not redirect to www, right? It doesn't. Refresh. Maybe I'm gonna remove it and add it again. Yeah, let's remove it. Let's remove this guy and see if this still works. So this is not gonna work. Not found. That's fine as well. And the domains should also work. So I'm gonna see if that is the case still. GoDaddy. And we gotta find out if our domain is working fine for us. Just give me 1 second. So we do have the www pointing to @ which seems cool to me. Yeah, seems cool. All right, and then also let's try to add this CodeWithAhsan.org add this guy. So yeah, this is going to be www, and it will redirect to code with yeah, it will redirect this too. So that's okay. I'm going to also see the redirection. All right. So it has a valid configuration that seems to be good, but it doesn't redirect for some reason. And it does it not because of HTTP? No. So something is wrong there, definitely. The chunks fail. There is all right. So access to fetch at blah 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 from origin, and it seems like it's because of interesting. So the initial or this is, yeah, this is definitely not being redirected. I think that's the case. So I'm using Vercel, which I migrated to from maybe I can land intern. Definitely I will try to create like a web app CV, and I will hook it up with local JSON server to show some. Yeah, definitely that sounds really good. As long as you have something to show in your interview as a portfolio, I think that really works. That's going to be amazing if you do so. Is it only because of this browser that I'm in? If I do this, what? Yeah, it seems like it's a browser cache issue. So it works on incognito, it doesn't work here. There we go. Remove the cache and load it, and it works. Yeah, so I also migrated these two applications while I was having a lot more infections. So let's see. So it's gonna be this guy and this. So they're essentially using the same theme, but what I have different here is yeah, this is gonna be where I'm probably gonna add a couple of courses, and on my own side I'm probably gonna be adding a couple of blog posts, but maybe here I would also invite other folks to write blogs as well or share articles as well, and they can link it to, because it has a really good SEO. Did you design your website? No, I did not. I have kind of not designed but placed this UI that you see myself. But I've also used a thumbnail, or sorry, not a thumbnail, but a template for this. So it's a pretty standard template, so to say, with Next.js. But I think the landing page, that's just something really simple that I thought about and then implemented it. But yeah, most of them is really most of what you see is really just the template. Looks clean. Yeah, that's the idea. Wanted this to be super clean. There are some things that I did want to fix. So if you are still looking for Hacktoberfest contributions, I think we have another day, or no, today is the last day. So yeah, if you want to do a couple of contributions, there is one ticket that I can create. And that is here within the community section. We just have these links, but if you click on a link, you go to their GitHub, and what we wanted to do before was to open their projects. So there is no projects page yet, so I'm gonna quickly create this issue for you folks if you want to contribute. If not, then I'm gonna do it myself when I get some time. And there were some other pull requests as well. I'm not sure if they're gonna be legit anymore. For instance, this one, I'm not sure if we can merge this, but maybe we can. So we have data, people, Tamil, Qureshi, JSON. I think we can still merge this one. Cool. Ubed says looking cool in glasses. Yeah, this is just because I have an eye infection here. Silent cool avatar. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna add Tamur as well, so it looks like we have quite the same. What all could learn here, Mr. Salahuddin Wasif? Really good question. We are working on this application called Helped Me. So we are going to work with Angular, we are going to work with Firebase, we are going to work with a couple of technologies and see how we can develop a web application. I'm also sharing some tips about jobs, internships, and any questions that come up my way. So that's what we are doing here today. Let's see. Show a grid of people. I'm not sure if this is valid anymore. There are going to be a lot of conflicting files because I removed the PRs, but I'm gonna leave these PRs for now, so at least they are viable for Hacktoberfest. Yeah, I'm gonna leave these for now. Similarly, we have show grid of people. No, don't want this. Add my new repo. I think someone changed their JSON file. It's 33-bit binary who just went away. So I'm gonna merge this. Google Forms spammer. Spam Google Forms with post requests. What kind of project is this? This python pip install requests form spammer.py. This can lag your computer depending on how many threads you use. Example link, interform URL without the form at the end. Interesting. I'm not sure if I should add this to the projects. Maybe. Google Form spammer. We'll see. All right, let's add this. That's fine. How about you folks? Have you completed the Hacktoberfest challenge? Have you all completed the Hacktoberfest challenge? Conflicting files. This branch has conflict that must be resolved. Oh, I cannot merge these. That's fine. I'm gonna keep this open for now. There was one issue that I wanted to create, and that was implementing Mohammed Hasham. Yes. Cool. So let's say create a page for projects of the community members. Let's see. On clicking the community member, we should navigate to a new page where we can show the members' projects. Okay, let's keep it this. Solution is actually this. Alternatives, no. And here we could simply say right now clicking the community member takes us to the GitHub page of the member. So that's what happens right now. If I go to the community page, if I click on any of these links, so either the image or the title or this learn more, you would see that we go to their GitHub page. So instead of that, we need to show their projects which are already inside these the GitHub repo. So if I go back exactly here, so in the data, people, and any of these JSON files, we already have the projects here, so we can quickly fetch those and go ahead. All right, so hope this makes sense. Alrighty, what was your first job as an intern, or already was your job as an intern or already as a junior? My first job was as an intern. So if I show you my LinkedIn, I'm not sure if we called that intern back then. Maybe we did, maybe we did not. Let's see, it should be right here. What knowledge you got when you landed it? I was very lucky actually, but I can share my experience with you. So here you can see this was my first job at Colvis. This was called trainee software engineer, which was essentially internee software engineer. Like, was you that smooth? No, I think I was, maybe I wasn't. I'm not sure, to be honest. But I can tell you what I did. The job that I landed was because of a teacher who recommended us to this company. This company was also of one of my seniors, but way more senior than me. So they graduated, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years ago. compared to me myself. But here, essentially, my teacher recommended a couple of people, maybe 12 people as far as I can recall, to this company. And because they asked for the bright students, I was kind of in those lists. One of the reasons was that the subject that I chose was computer programming, or sorry, computer graphics. And with CG, I actually built a project that was, I think, the top third project as far as I remember. Or I don't know if it was second or third, but it was in the top three. And when when they asked our teacher, they recommended a couple of people, so my name was within those lists. And yeah, I was then recommended to this company, and then they took the interview. They asked some questions from us, and then I landed the internship. I wasn't so smooth per se, but I used to, as a student in the university, I used to focus on the computer science projects more, compared to the other subjects like Pakistan studies or business communications and things like that. So I didn't focus on those a lot. I did focus on the computer science projects and or subjects, and I got more marks in those compared to the other ones. So yeah, that's my little journey, or that's what happened. Localhost 3000, or was it 5000? I don't know. 5000 drop. Yeah, that's the one. Let's see if it's still working. Yeah, looks like it is working. Cool. What knowledge you got when you landed it? I think I answered that. What did you do for the first one? Did you work on real world projects? Yes, I did. I did some research, and I think here I've mentioned that as well. So I was a trainee software engineer for about 6 months, and my responsibilities essentially included looking at one of their old libraries and kind of converting them into HTML5 JavaScript. So their projects initially were based on ActionScript, but then they wanted to migrate to HTML5, and I looked into how that's possible. I also started looking into Angular back then. So my first few days were actually exploring Angular, how that works, and kind of then teaching others as well. So yeah, that's what happened there. Let's open this up as well. You're an inspiration for me. How to learn and keep up with the new technologies? Sorry if the question is a little bit vague. No, that's a really good question, and I appreciate asking the question. The reason, or the way that you do this is, if I can open my browser again, I would highly suggest that you follow people who are really invested in technology, or are at the top of the technology tree, so to say, whoever is working. For instance, if you go to my Twitter, Twitter is one thing that I absolutely use for keeping up with the technology. So you have to follow people who are working in the technology. For instance, if you see my feed, you will rarely see any politics or any celebrity or someone. You will only see people who are in the technology. For instance, Matthew Colina, he is a Node.js TSC member. You see Dan Abramov, you see Aves, you see Palash. There are a lot of people, but you would always see those people which are either developers or tech startups. You will not see anything else here, and that's what I usually do. My whole timeline is filled with people who are in the technology world and who are inspiring me. So if you want to be in touch with technology, or if you want to keep people inspiring you, you should follow those. For instance, even this video that you see, it's sort of an entertainment video, but this person, he is working at Microsoft with JavaScript. He's a Google developers expert. So yeah, I follow all of these people and I make sure that I keep tabs on them. I keep an eye on what they are doing, and then I try to do the same. That's where I get some ideas from as well. So I get my ideas from following these folks. Hope that makes sense. It varies by company between I didn't have much experience building projects but got hired based on a problem solving skills. I think organizations which cannot afford to train new joinees want someone with experience. Yes, that's true. The thing is that not every organization can spend resources to train multiple people, and it depends then. So if you are interested in multiple companies, you might find companies which have the time and the resources to train you. But many companies today, specifically in countries where I would say, for instance, in Asia, you will probably see this culture, and people can tell me if I'm wrong, and I might be wrong, but at least I can talk about Pakistan, that there are very few companies who invest in initially the time to train those resources, because there's a challenge that's going on among each company. They have to strive to provide value to their customers, and then if their senior resources are going to spend time to train junior resources, they have to then make a decision if that's okay for them or not, and it depends from company to company. But yeah, you might find companies which provide you the opportunity to learn as well. It depends on company to company, yes, as Hamad said. But yeah, let's talk about where we are today, and I'm going to be answering any questions that you are asking right now from me. And in the meantime, we are also going to develop all this. So where are we in terms of this development? I think last time what we did was we essentially built this. If I go here and go localhost 3000, not 3000 but 4200, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing but a bit different. I'm gonna have to see actually. Yeah, it's the same thing. I was confused a bit between these two things, and I thought I missed something, but I didn't. Oh, all right, that's good. We even hired electrical engineers as software developers, and they are doing great. Yes, I know, right? We had a senior, and I'm gonna share this amazing person that we had. Actually, I can find him here. He's one of my one of the best seniors that I have had, and one of the most brilliant minds that I've seen. Really funny guy, really intelligent guy. I think he studied electrical engineering as far as I know, and he used to work with me in one of the companies as well. But yeah, so let's see, and I'm gonna quickly go and see the dashboard. There we go. Awesome. So what happens if there's like only one person in this project box? For instance, if you have this, are you talking about this one or which one? So if you're talking about this one, that's a different thing. All right, so if this Ahsan Ayaz is a person who only helped one person, then there would be only one person being shown here. There wouldn't be 999. So this is all hard coded right now, but we're gonna make this dynamic based on actual people, actual records, and whatnot. So from the last time, what we had was we had some we had Firebase integration and some sort of logging mechanism as well, or some sort of authentication mechanism as well. But here right now in the Angular application, we don't have that. So we're gonna start looking into that now. So we already have this helped me app created on Firebase, and we're going to be utilizing this for the next parts. I'm wondering about the positions of every circle covering the half of the other. How did you do that? I didn't have to. That's the fun part. I was actually looking into tailwind.css, and I'm pretty sure you could do it as well. For instance, this I mean, it's really easy. What you have is each next element, it's going to take the previous elements, or you potentially move it around a bit with position relative. I mean, I can just assume that's what we have done here, but I can double check it for you. But I didn't have to do it myself. I let others do that. So here we have the width, height, we have max width here. In this one, we have the space X that you see here. And I think it's space X minus 2 that's working here. So it's justify and XL justify is minus space X2. So I think this is the thing that is potentially doing this. Let's see. So if I go here, here, block code, let's see, space Y reverse. No, that's not the one. There should be a minus space X something something. Interesting. So, oh, I'm looking at the wrong one maybe, or not the right one. So this is the one and this is the one. So here in this case, we got border, width, image, shadow, box, not children, that's fine, body, HTML, tab size 4. So flex, justify, and that's fine. Then we got SM justify start, that's also fine. Then LG justify, and that's also fine. If I remove this X2, let's see what happens, because I'm pretty sure this is the one that's doing some magic there. Exactly, yes, that's the class. So if I put this again, what happens is that in Tailwind, and I didn't know this, but I'm checking this with you now. So space is something that we should have space between, theme configuration, space, value with spaces, BG repeat space. Let's say we talk about space X. So space between, this is the one. So here, when we do space X0, that means that it gives space between those elements if you're using flex in between. So here, if you see, if I do space X2, then it's gonna give this space 2 between those, right? Similarly, and they're pretty smart, whoever designed this, because I just copied it from somewhere. But if I do 12, then it's going to take even more space. So you could define different breakpoints on how many spaces do you want to, or how much space do you want every element to have between each other. And then if I give this negative, then boom, it's toward the other side. So the one that they gave was space -2. And since you have -2 and not +1, then they are colliding or coming inside each other. So that's interesting. I could give 3, and that's even more shrinked now. So yeah, that's super cool. That's the one. I'm wondering about the position of every circle. Yeah, I think I answered this question. Awesome. So let's see. So we got this application here. We also have the authentication enabled, and we also have one account here that we have used. Now the thing is that we have not used, we are not implementing right now anything for authentication within here. Hey, restarted, thank you so much for the follow. How's it going today? So we're gonna start for Tailwind in DevTools. If you click the CLS next to the filter box, you can easily toggle or add classes to test them directly. Interesting, really, I didn't know that. So if I go here and go to inspect, you mentioned which exactly in DevTools? You click the here next to the filter box. So the filter box is this. So we have class here. Oh, nice. Is that something related to Tailwind only, or it is? I think it's related to everything, right? It's not Tailwind specific, but it's for everything. But since Tailwind is utility first, we can quickly play around with that. There we go. And I think one really good thing that I really like about DevTools is this latest feedback for the users. Yeah, it's really handy for Tailwind, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing this. I didn't know about that. But this flex or spacing thing that the DevTools shows us right now. So that's really cool. That's amazing. So I can remove BG gray easily. I could also see width 7. So that has changed now, but only on this particular element. The border could be as well, the border wide. Okay, height 7, width 7. Oops. All right, this is really cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Awesome. So here we go, and we're gonna start looking into how to implement Firebase with Angular. So Angular and Firebase, we already have a library that's called Angular Firebase. So we're gonna look into that, which is Angular Fire. I think there was a library called Angular Fire 2 as well, but I think they renamed it. So official Angular library for Firebase. So this is this one. So we're gonna add this right into our project using the command Angular Fire. And what this would do is that this would essentially include this project or include this library, the package within our application, but it will also do some things as well, like importing any necessary modules into our application. So I'm going to add Angular Fire. We're going to see what this does essentially. And I'm also going to look into some of the documentation in the meantime. So we are going to start with authentication. We already have the authentication set up into our project, and we are going to continue with that. Angular Fire 7.1.1 will be installed and executed. Yeah, definitely. Let's do that. Let's do it. So restarted. What have you been doing today? Were you watching someone else before this stream? Nice. Awesome. I'm gonna go into the dashboard as well. Just browsing around. Awesome. Cool. I think I'm going to start working on this platform. I'm not sure if I'm going to be streaming that, but I'm going to be starting to look into implementing a course platform into the CodeWithAhsan org. Can you visit this right now? Visit what exactly? So we're gonna do ng deploy hosting. Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. So yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna do ng deploy. We're gonna do authentication. We're gonna do fire store, cloud functions. I'm not sure. I don't think so at the moment. Cloud messaging. No, not at the moment. Maybe. And then we have authentication and other things as well. Yeah, I'm gonna include cloud messaging if I wanted to. Can you visit this right now? 3.search.sh. Just hover on SVG. Okay, let's see. Did you say 3.3D? Ah, 3D, or is it 3D? SH. Is it gonna destroy my whole? It's 3D and with 3 E's. So I need to hover on the SVG, and I am right now. What does it do? Oh, okay. So if I move out, it goes inside, and if I go here, it brings this outside. Interesting. Did you work on it, Ubed? It looks cool. I don't know what is this design system called, or what this design sense is called. I think Facebook uses this a lot with really small heads and a huge bodies. I don't know what this is called. But yeah, interesting. Super cool. All of these animations are in 3D plane. Interesting. Which browser are you using? I'm using Chrome. Which Firebase account would you like to use? sn.ubtn, please. Then I'm gonna add this with help me. Create a new site. We already have the site actually worked upon, but let's see. Please select an app, use arrow key at me.io. So they have updated firebase.json, looks like. They also updated Firebase RC. I'm gonna have a look into what they changed. So targets, just added the targets. That's okay. It was the same thing before. What about the Firebase JSON? What did they change? So they changed dist helped me, added a bunch of ignores, did a few rewrites, then also added another target, which is helped me, headers, a bit of cache controlling, also added a service worker as well. Cool. I think, yeah, all right, I'll take it. Added a bunch of git ignores as well. So this is really cool, right? When you work with Angular and with ng add command, they do a lot of things just like this, so you don't have to, and that is super cool. What else do we have? All right, so we got some development and production variables as well. They also added this code to initialize the application. We also have the provide auth that calls get auth as well. Let's see, we also have some things in the package JSON as well. So all right, there's a lot of things that happen right now. We're gonna look into the implementation now. So let's see, check it on Firefox if you have it right now. I don't think I have Firefox. No, I don't have it, but you can send the video on LinkedIn. Yes, definitely do that. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna be looking into so we got Firebase and auth as well. Now we're gonna be looking into authentication itself. So let's see, authentication. Get started with Firebase authentication, route using with Angular FireGuard. Obviously we are going to do that. So essentially we are going to start with the Firebase auth using this. So we got Angular Fire auth. Then we are going to listen to it, sign in with pop-up, sign out. That's cool. We're also going to do route guards, and we are going to listen to that as well. Angular Fire auth guard. Okay, that's cool. So we got sign in. We are not going to restrict the user to not go to a page, but we are going to restrict when the user starts to add something. So when you click new instead of this this modal, we are going to show something else in the meantime. So let's do that. I'm also gonna see some things here. So we got auth guard pipe, redirect login to items. Okay, compose your own pipes. That's fine. All right, so we got this here. We got auth settings here. Current browsing language. Okay, persistence. All right, and then we have multi-tenancy as well. Interesting. Cool. All right, let's see. So we got this, the Angular Fire. So we're going to be including this, and we are also going to use sign in with pop-up with the Firebase auth Google provider. So I'm going to do this. Let's see. So I'm going to go here in this code where we have the home page, and inside the home page we have the show modal. So I'm going to import these two things there. Then we are going to do this. So we got login, logout as well. We're going to do this. I think here I'm only going to use login but not logout, but let's keep it here for now. For auth, I do have to import that as a property right here, or the service essentially. So I'm going to import this as a service as well, just like this. And now I can do auth, sign in with pop-up and whatnot. So here, what I need to check is if I am logged in or not. So I should be able to see the Firebase authentication just like this. See the Fire methods are available. Yes, of course. So I'm gonna have to see if this auth is having current user. So I'm gonna have to check if we have a current user or not. So if we set this modal to true, then we have to check if this is if we have the user or not. So let's say if we say if this dot auth dot current user, if we don't have this user, then we are gonna try logging in. Okay, so we're gonna do something like this. So we are going to do something like this dot login. So we need to perform login first, and then we need to do something else. So here it returns a it returns a promise, right? So we're gonna make this an async method, and here we are going to say, so if you see here, this says that when this function is run, it returns with a promise with the user credential, right? So what we can do here is that we can say something like const user, and here we can do something, or we could say something like credentials, and here we can say await, which means that this credential is now going to be of type Firebase auth user credential, right? And once we have this, then we can simply say something like, if we are going to do login, then we are also going to do something else. So what we can do here is that, or we could do something like, let's say we could do return this. All right, this set show modal, we can also make this async. This essentially does not mean to be async, so I can do something like here. So we could do await this dot login, or something like credentials equals await this dot login, and if we got the credentials, then we are going to have whatever is being there, right? So if the current user doesn't exist, then we are going to try to log in. If the login fails, then we do a return. Otherwise, we're gonna go and do whatever was done, right? So I think this should work. Let me quickly see. Yeah, so let's try this out now. Boom, it seems like we have an issue. So it says like null injector, injection token, blah blah blah, AngularFire 2 app options. Maybe I need to restart my server because we added this Firebase in the middle. So let's try that. There we go. Let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. They say that injection token, AngularFire app options, no provider for injection token, AngularFire 2 app options. Interesting. Let's see. Okay. So okay. I think since it's in the home module, that wouldn't work. So we need to import this provide auth as well to the project. So get auth is essentially what? So type of get auth. I think I need to provide that here in the home module as well. So I'm going to go and import this into home module. Oh, we can't? Then you might have to just share a drive, maybe. See if you can have a Google Drive sent. So here in the, let's see. So in the imports, we have the auth. So we're going to import the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to import this from fire auth, and the get auth also is going to be from the fire auth. Let's save this, try this out. Now it says that injection token AngularFire app options doesn't work. Let's see. We're going to have to do this here. So initialize app is okay. Let's see, AngularFire, we're gonna have to see feature. Let's see, AngularFire auth in feature module. Firebase authentication, continue with cookies. So we got the AngularFire package, and we could have done that with ng as well, but we got AngularFire module, AngularFire auth module. I think this is what we need to import. So not the other things, but this guy maybe. So AngularFire auth module, we're gonna have to import this. Gonna have to remove this guy from here. Then it says injection token, blah blah blah. Interesting. Why would this? Interesting. So we got here Angular Fire module dot initialize app. Then we got Angular Fire auth module, Fire store module. Interesting. What does this do? So we got Firebase app as a provider. Then we got provide here. Then we got Firestore. So we have to import all of these things. We gotta import Angular Fire. What was it called? App module. So this one is Firebase app. So Firebase app module. So that should be Firebase app module. Then we also have, I think these should be good. I have to find the exact issue. No provider for Angular. That's quite an old issue. But why do I need to import Firestore? That's weird. That's weird. No. Angular Fire auth itself. So we got Angular Fire auth here. Do we have? No. So we are using the home page here, or is it not even the home page but the module itself? So when we do this, let's see. Let's see. So we got home here. We got Angular Fire auth here. We got environment and other things here as well. We got app module. In the app module, we have initialize app, provider Firebase app. That's okay. Then we have provide auth and get auth. And then we do provide auth here and get auth as well. Get auth is type of get auth. Okay. And this returns auth to us. Interesting. Then we got Firestore here. So if I don't import this into my home, or the home one, then there's no issue in that case. So if I don't provide the Angular Fire auth and have this removed, also this removed, then you mean there's not going to be any issue. Okay, so the issue is essentially related to this one. So if I import this, then we are at a problem. So this essentially should be this, and that's why everything gets messed up. Okay, so Angular Fire auth is essentially not working. So we got Angular Fire auth here, which is from Fire Compat. They also have selector, and then Firebase authentication. So Angular Fire promises blah blah blah. Methods are available. Configuration of dependency injection, current browser usage. We don't need that. Let's see. So here we have getting started, and that is the same one. Although I need to get this started. So let's see, Ionic, RDB, blah blah blah, install and setup, Angular CLI and Windows 10. So Angular Fire quick start. We gotta have this. We gotta have the Angular Fire module. We have to import with the initialize app. Then we can set up individual modules. So we have Angular Fire module, Angular Firestore module, and auth module as well. Angular Firestore. Okay. So this documentation is also for August. Let's see. So here in the app module, what they did was they added all these things. And let's see. So in here, we need to do something like Fire app. Let's see. So instead of doing this, we should be doing this Angular Fire module. And we should be doing Angular Fire module dot initialize app this. Then we should have auth. Let's see. So we gotta have the auth module as well. Fire. All right, so we're gonna have Firebase authentication here. This is gonna be Angular Fire auth. This is the class for this, which is Angular Fire. And this should be part of the auth module, which is Angular Fire auth module. So here we should have Angular Fire auth module just like this. And we get rid of these and these. And once we do so, then this is working. And the home component itself, we do have the auth module here loaded as well. Boom, this works, cool. So it was about the right libraries importing that. There we go. So that works. So now if I click here, it opens this. And we gotta also have to see the login method. So here, if I click this and this and this, let's see what happens. So if I click this, it comes here, it says auth, and then there is this current user. This current user, what is this? So this dot auth, but is a proxy state handler get and then we got credentials, which is observable. Then we have auth state here, and we have user here, and all of these are actually so this current user, that is, what is it? Is it a promise? Seems like it's a promise. So if this guy, which is the auth, which is Angular Fire auth, so if I do something like const user equals this dot auth dot current user, and I have to do something like await. Is this a method? It's a property. But it's a promise. Interesting. So if we don't have the user, then we would have to do this, otherwise that. So let's do this actually. Let's try to see if this works. So I'm going to close this guy here. I'm going to click this here. It's going to take the current user. The user is null. The user is null. It's going to go inside. It's going to try to log in now. Boom. There we go. We see the sign up function now. And since I'm already logged in with my account here, we see this being opened. Cool. Super cool. So this is working now. Now I need to do logout as well. So if I do login, that means that I should be seeing this in the header. But let's say we're going to go to the header component. So here, now I'm getting a bit faster here. So stop me if you think I'm going too fast. So I'm going to go here and say header. So in here, we got this logout button. But this logout button is going to be shown when we have the user available, right? So here what we are going to do is we're going to say in this header component, we are going to first import, we're going to say private auth or Angular for auth. So we got auth here, and then we are going to say something like user, and this is going to be an observable of Firebase dot user. If I import Firebase, I'm going to be importing this something like this. So I'm going to import this just like this. Oops. So Firebase dot user, or it's going to be null. So either of those, right? And it's not equals, it's just the type here. So I'm going to be saying something like user is going to be this dot auth dot user, and this is the user, right? What does it say? User did you make? Yeah, it's going to be this dot user. All right, so now we got the user here, and in here we are going to say something like if the user async as user is available, then we are going to use the photo URL of that user, and we are going to show the logout button here. So I'm going to do this should pass, and in here if we click logout, then we are going to say this dot auth dot what was the function here? The logout says sign out, so I'm going to say sign out. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So if I do show this now, look at this now. So here you see that right now in this page we see this image at the header. So since I'm logged in, I can see this image, right? Use async await. Where should I be using async await here that I have not used? So here you see that we got this image. If I click this, it's going to trigger logout, and then this image is going to go away. Boom, we logged out, and now we are not logged in. If I click this new, it will first try to log me in just like this, you see, and that now that I'm logged in, I can see this review. If I was not logged in, then I would have to do it again. So let's do this. I click log out, and now I'm not logged in. So here we don't have this this problem. So what do we do apart from this? Let me think. So here we should have some sort of a drop down that we can use, and we can quickly build it using Tailwind. So let's do that. So we can have that as well. So Tailwind CSS drop down. So we're gonna have drop down just like this. So we can quickly take the code from here. So we have something called, and this is React. I actually want HTML out of it. So we got div, we got buttons. So it says options, and then it has all this. So sign out, account settings, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna copy all of this just like this. And then I'm gonna go into my header, and here I can have this drop down, which is the top drop down. So here I'm gonna have this ng image, and right after this, I'm gonna have this CSS. So let's see how this looks now. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna log in first. So now that I'm logged in, you can see this drop down, right? So I can click this out, and you can see everything working once I'm logged in. So the thing is that now this is being shown for everything. I don't want this to be like this. I want to show this only when I want to. So in order to do so, I'm gonna have to look into this CSS. So this example requires Tailwind CSS v2 point, blah, 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 show and hide based on menu state, entering, transition. Okay. Am I missing anything? So this button is Walaikum Assalam Sid, how's it going? So I can click on this, I can then click on this, and this also works fine for us, no problem at all. This is good. React View. So we got at least the HTML of it. I don't have to worry about that. Then let's see. So we got inline flags, blah, 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 shadow SM, focus ring, indigo, menu button, has pop-up true, a lot of things here and there. So in this button, I actually want I'm gonna remove show height based on menu state from transform opacity 0. Okay, this is essentially, all right. Let's see. So we got this button which has a lot of classes here. Then we got this SVG that we can definitely use. So we're gonna use this SVG essentially, and I'm going to remove this button altogether, just like this. We're gonna have the SVG. We're also going to have this image. So let's pick this image just like this and see it here. So we have the image and we have this SVG here as well. This image, however, needs to be needs to be aligned. So maybe, and my camera died. Let me fix my camera. All right, let's see. So in this case, we have this image, but then this also this element here. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna say justify between, but not justify between, but justify end. But then everyone would be at the end. So I'm probably gonna say justify end, but then this guy would be having a flex 1. So we have this now. Will there be Vanilla.js projects in the next streams? Yes, there will be. There will be. I do plan to do that as well once we are done with implementing this as well. So right now, I think we are only working with HTML and CSS. So it's not essentially Angular so far. A bit of Angular, but rather it's HTML and CSS. So we are using the flex now with this drop down button as well. And then we have this drop down menu here. Now we are going to be showing and hiding this drop down menu based on a state. So we could say something like menu open equals, or we could say equals false. And we could then have a button here that would say something like, actually, I think this should only be shown when we have this. Let me see. When we have this focus, right? So we could use the focus within like this focus. I don't know if this Brown Dude, how is it going? How are you doing today? So I'm gonna be saying tailwind, and here we can say something like focus within. So we should have the focus within here. So if I click here, this should open. This is completely fine. So we should have focus within, but then how would we say something like focus and then allow it on the element, so to say? So maybe we need to write some sort of hard-coded CSS. So let's say if we got this element, which is the SVG, let's give this a class as well. Let's call this something like dropdown trigger. So we got the dropdown trigger here. We're gonna style this. We're gonna go ahead and say something like app header, and inside we have dropdown trigger. So here we're gonna use a terminology that we call the BEM. So we do something like this. We say app header and then underscore underscore dropdown trigger. When we are writing SCSS for this, it becomes really easy because we can then just do this. And this compiles to be a style that combines these two things just like this, right? So it really makes it easy to target this whole thing, but in a kind of stacked way using SCSS. So this is super cool if you want to try this out. So we are going to say if this app header dropdown trigger is focused, so we could say something like focus within. So if this is focused, then what we need to do is we're gonna have to enable this element, that is this div. So let's see. So if we are focusing this element, maybe we cannot do it using CSS because these are now siblings. Otherwise I would have to move this in the SVG rather. So yeah, not using this. So I'm gonna remove this CSS from here. You don't need it. We're gonna go ahead with this menu open logic, and then we are going to say toggle drop down menu, and then we are going to say this dot menu open equals not this dot menu open. So what we are trying to do is that we are going to apply a click handler. Whenever that happens, we are going to make this false and true based on the click scenario. So here what we want to do is whenever we click on this, so let's say we apply this SVG here, and then we simply say here click, and this is going to be something like toggle drop down, and we are going to say something like this one is going to say ng if, and we're going to say menu open. So if menu open is true, then we show that element like this, otherwise we don't. Can you see now the drop down is working fine? So one of the things that I see is that this menu, this is coming on top of this drop down, so we need to increase the z index of this. So we are going to increase the z index for something like z 10 maybe, and let's see if that works out. There we go. So now we don't have to worry about that. We are also going to just remove all the other options and just keep the sign out one. So I'm gonna remove all these, and this doesn't need to be inside a form per se. So I'm going to just use this button, and we are going to remove the other things here. So here it's gonna be something like this. All right, and I can simply click sign out, and this would sign me out. I'm also looking into one more thing. So we have py padding y equals to 1, but this element itself, it has margin top 2. I'm gonna give this a margin top of 6, so it is a bit downwards like this, right? It's not on the header now, so this is important. And now if I click this sign out, that's gonna work. The width that we have, we are going to give this a lesser width, so we are going to say width 40 something something, so let's say 40, and let's see now. So here we got sign out now, and when we click on this, we should be able to sign out. So we are going to simply say here click, and here we are going to say log out, if I'm doing this correctly. So it's log out. I was thinking about a chess game project with vanilla.js like chess.com. I think that's gonna be fun, and I didn't see other content creators do stuff like that. We could do that. The only thing that I'm thinking about is, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Overall, it's gonna be really fun because we would have all these options and all the moves that we could do. I'm just not sure how much time it's gonna take, but it's gonna be fun, definitely. Fill is gonna be current color. Fill is gonna be, I think, white. There we go. So we got logged out now, which means if I click here, we see this modal first. It logs in. It logs us in first, and then it shows this input. Okay. When we click this element, we should also, whenever we click on this menu, we should also do a click just like this. That closes this drop down menu. So here, if I click sign out, you see that this is okay. And now if I open this, you will see that in this case, now we are not showing it. All right. If I click outside, nothing happens. If I click outside here, and if I click new, the modal is not shown for the login. And now we see that this is working fine. So we got the authentication working now. If I refresh, what happens? This is still checking the login, and it shows my icon whenever I'm logged in. So this is good. We got at least the authentication in place. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just push this so we don't lose the track of it. So let's see. So we got all those things. I'm going to close everything here, and then I'm going to push this. So we are going to do git commit feature authentication or auth per se, and then we are going to say implement authentication. Implemented Firebase authentication using Google. And then we also would do something like, let's see. All right. Also implemented the new feedback modal logic. All right, so we got this. Now we can push this. And I think we have this now working. So I think the next step would be to either use so we got the sign up working. I think that's pretty much it. That's where probably I'm gonna let's see. So we also need to have the search working. We also need to have the records, or we also need to have the new feedback working, which means that we should be able to find a particular person just like this via helper name, and we should be able to give them feedback. So for that we would need somehow the URL of the person as well. I'm thinking now. So we could find the person, and we could also write a new person, something like that. So we're gonna have to make a decision on what we can do here. Let's see. I got a message. All right. Cool. Let's see. The only thing is that I'm thinking now, how would we fetch the people from Twitter, the people from GitHub, and the people from other places as well. So in order to do so, we might have to implement that into our code of getting those people from GitHub as well. Let's see actually. So if we talk about GitHub, that means that we are talking about a Firebase function which gets information from GitHub itself. So let's see. So first of all, we need to be able to find people from GitHub, right? Let's see. So when we do functions, getting started with callable functions, Angular 5 functions. So here we got creating a callable function. So we have HTTP callable here, my function name, then you do this. Okay. We're gonna have to create the function here within this project. So if we want to do so, that means we're gonna have to create those functions here. So let's do that. We are going to say Firebase, or let's say Firebase CLI create function. All right. So what we can do is we can start with the Firebase tools. I believe we already have the Firebase functions. in the project? No, we don't. Let's see, run the same command, initialize your project, init firestore, firebase init functions. So that's what we want, init functions. So in this case, we want to create some functions which essentially can get information from the GitHub. So let's make it for GitHub first. Are you ready to proceed? Yes, please. You are initializing within an existing Firebase project directory. Yes. All right. So we are going to implement that with TypeScript. We can, yes, use that as well. Dependencies, yes, please. So we are going to create some functions which can get this information from GitHub. So let's say GitHub, or I think we have AutoCAD which uses this. So AutoCAD, GitHub API using promises or what? Interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's see. Dependencies report path for not found. 5 years, 5 years, 4 years. Interesting. GitHub API. I think we are going to be using GitHub API maybe directly. REST API overview, resources in the REST API. We're going to also have to authenticate ourselves with them. So we're going to have to describe the resources, GitHub serve, current version. Okay. We're going to have to take the OAuth token as well with GitHub. So let's say we got node GitHub API example. How to connect to GitHub with API with the Node.js server. So sample node API. Let's see. So we're gonna have to first node crowd vertex. No, I don't want to do that. GitHub app, navigation, developer settings, access key, application name. All right, so I need to create an application now, first of all. Then I need to have client ID and client secret. Then we have to do this. Then we got this. Then I would have to get all of these things. Then we would have to do authorization. Then we will get callback. Okay. Then we would have to do this. Interesting. Then would have to do this. Refer the comment in the code. Test the application for the expansion. Okay. Let's see. We also got GitHub API, NPM. Maintainers wanted, published 9 months ago. GitHub JS minimal high level wrapper around GitHub API. So when we do GitHub, then we can create these. Okay. Also acceptable my token. Okay. Interesting. So in this case, users, organizations, webhooks, rate limit. And what is the rate limit in this case? $60 requests. Oh, it's 60 requests per hour. Okay. Interesting. So we can get these people, but interesting. We're gonna have to see. I mean, what we could do is we could instead of getting them from GitHub, but then that wouldn't be any authentic in that case. Interesting. Hmm. I think I'm gonna think about that, and until then, I'm gonna stop thinking about this. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. It's that realization that this might get into a lot of things, and then maintaining that and then making sure that it's authentic. It's gonna be a lot of work unless we can get this, because then that would be moderation as well in terms of what kind of feedbacks everyone could post. um that would be an issue as well. Then for Twitter, we would also have to have that information as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna probably abandon the project. I'm not sure, but maybe I'll think about it. Anyways, let's see what we want to do today. So I'm gonna take a 10 minutes break, and then I'm gonna be back, and then we'll see where we go with this. So I'm gonna be back in 10 minutes. I'm gonna also have to pray in the meantime. So be right back in 10 minutes. I'm back. All right, everyone. I'm gonna stop the Angular work right here. I'm gonna think about it. If you want to go forward with that, not go forward with that, we're gonna see. But for now, I think what we want to do definitely is we need to work on the drop me game. So I'm gonna start working on that. Actually, there were some things that we needed to do and we could not before, so we're gonna do that. Okay, let's work on the drop me game. I'm gonna have to change the description everywhere. Let me quickly see. Let's see. Let's do that. I'm gonna quickly change the information there as well. Cool. And I'm gonna quickly change the information right on the Facebook one as well. Let's see. All right, there we go. Commendation, blah blah blah. All right, there we go. I'm gonna have to change this definitely. How do I change the post? There we go. All right, there we go. Awesome. So if we go forward with the drop me game, that means we're going to do just like this. So if we go to Twitch and do drop me, then we should be seeing this game working. What do you think? One of the things that I need to do is to change or to allow scoring for the people who are going to play the game. Interesting. So we are going to be working on this, and we are going to potentially hide this overlay if someone doesn't use it for quite a while. If I do, Kraus 4K, how's it going? How are you doing today? How are you doing? Nice swag. Thank you. I actually had an eye infection, and that is much better now, but still not good enough to show that to everyone. So that's why we are chilling today with the swag. Oh, that's not what we have right now, but good suggestion. Indirect good suggestion. So I'm gonna say if it's just dropped, then we are also going to allow it somehow. So let's fix that. So if the message is just drop, or even if it's just the drop, then we're going to do the same thing. So that means it should now work even if you say drop. There we go. We also need to do some calculation about the scoring. So we're going to have to find a really nice drop pad or some sort of dartboard or drop pad. I don't know what you want to call it, but we need some sort of drop pad. So what we are going to do is we're going to try to find a dart board, some sort of image that we can find and apply to this maybe clip art of dartboard with just the dart itself, and then we have to shrink it to our will, something like this, you know. Let's see. Luxury bullseye clip art board claim. Let's see. So here, start your trial, upload PNG. Which one was it? This one, right? So let's see if we are able to download this. My link is generating. That's cool. Where's my link? Download. Yay, there we go. So we got this guy here. Let's quickly open this and let's move this inside our script. So here we should have assets and we got rocket here. Where do we have this? Where do we have the other thing? So we got overlays, public, assets, drop. Here we have the launchpad. So instead of that, we're gonna put this dartboard inside the drop one. Although we're gonna have to kind of shrink this, like make it flat, you know. So make it flat as well, a bit, I think. If I do a 3D view, ooh, no. So if I want to some sort of canvas 3D library, maybe, no. Sorry, I'm really bad at this. So I think if I do this, no, that's not gonna work. I need to do 3D shapes. No. Control Z. I need to select it first of all. Then if I do this, oh, there we go. There we go. So we're gonna do something like this. Okay. Then we are also gonna crop this, save this, and I think that's what we want. So here we are going to just do just use this. I'm gonna remove this launchpad, and then we are going to call this dartboard, or so to say target, right? Let's call it target. So here we got the target. It's, let's see, in the properties we got this as a PNG file, so we're gonna use this instead of launchpad, which is this guy here. So we're going to replace this with target.png. Let's save this and see if this works out. So here I can see that on the very bottom we have this this launchpad per se. So we are going to say launch pad, which is this guy, and then change this to something called target board. So launch pad is now going to become target board, and we're gonna have a bottom of -10 pixel. Let's see. There we go. So now we can actually see this. And we can now see if this drops into the right position. And when it does, we need to identify what sort of let's see. So we do have some sort of information here. Let's see. So what we need to do is we need to find out first where it drops, and when it drops, what is the location, so we can then identify this the sort of score. So the further it is from the center itself, like the center here, the lower the score would be. All right. So how do we try to find this out? So we do have some sort of, let's say we got, yeah, we're gonna have to run this into a browser. So let's do that. So I'm gonna do something like, I'm gonna disable the layout right now, or maybe just keep it, but maybe we are going to do something like 5000, and we are going to say drop, and here we got this at the center, so I'm gonna do something like this. All right, now if I try to go ahead and see this, actually I'm gonna have to do this or this, that's fine. Let's do this. So here we got the target, which means that now if I type, or if you type drop emoji, we see this going on, right? And wherever it drops, that's gonna be the place where, interesting, refresh. So wherever it drops, let's see, this looks okay, but this one didn't. So something is wrong with this. Now this is okay. Interesting. All right. So anyways, now I need to see where this drops. So in order to check that, we need to check the dropping point. And we check that by sort of taking out the radius of it. So first of all, we have this launch pad element, or we could say target EL, and we get the target board. So we get target board EL, then we simply have the target board width taken out just like this. So we got the target board element just like this. Then we got the target board width just like this. And then once we get the width, so what we are doing right now is we have this calculate score method that is being used here when we drop it. So whenever we drop and the animated element is dropped, or the rocket is dropped, we calculate this using the dropped element. So we essentially see what is the position of this element. And once we have this dropped element position, then we get its offset plus client width divided by 2. All right. So let's actually see what are these values. So I'm going to see console.log L center, target board width. So I'm going to log these for now. So let's see. So here I'm going to start dropping this. So drop, drop, drop. So here, if I inspect this, this is going to go according to the previous one. So let's refresh. I'm going to do the drop again. So look at this. Now you see that here, what we get is this value of 777.5 and 200. So this 200 is essentially the width of this whole dart, and the 7745 is essentially the place where they dropped. So we need to find out how further from this, I'm going to close this, how further from the dartboard have they dropped. So here you see that it was dropped 431 against 200, right? So how far is this dropping from the main position? And we can get this by finding out the center of this. So first, let's say what is the center of this. So this element, if I reveal this, and the maths is just around here. So if I reveal this element into the, or let's say store this as a global variable. So here, if I see temp1 dot client left, sorry, it should be offset left. You see this is 552. This is the position which starts from this place. So 552 is this place here, the left. If I want to find out the center of this, that would be this offset left plus it's going to be temp1 dot width, which is 752, which is this whole thing. It shouldn't be 752 actually, it should be inner width. Let's see, or client width. So it's 752. So offset, oh sorry, this temp1 dot client width is actually 200, which is fine. So this is 200 and this is 552. We add these and then we get this point here, right? So offset left plus width is equal to this. But if we do offset left plus width divided by 2, then we get this point. All right. So if we do something like this, but client width divided by 2, then we get 652, and 652 is exactly this place here. All right. So if we do this, then we can do the same thing here. So we got the border width here. Then we can also just check const target board radius. So we don't have to divide by 2 later on. So we can say target board width divided by 2. And then here we can say const center of the board equals. So we are going to say target port element dot offset plus this, the target board radius, and then we get the center of the board, and then we can also log this as well. All right, so that's how we get the center. Now we got the center of the board. We can also check element center. So we are going to say console.log element center, and element center is essentially elements offset left plus elements.client width divided by 2. So it's the center that we have for a drop is this. So if I drop just like this, you will see that this guy here, when it drops, I'm going to just do this so you can see that as well. So when we do drop, this happens. So it's gonna drop somewhat around here. So here, this is the element that is being dropped. This is the offset left, which is 223, which is right here. Then we are subtracting its width divided by 0. So it becomes this center. Although we want this tip actually to be its center. So it's going to be a bit interesting when we find out how to calculate that. But so far it's getting the center of it. So it's this position which we are getting here. All right. Then we have the target board element. Then we have the width, height. So here you see the target board element, which is this element here. The width is 200. The radius is always going to be 100, obviously, because it's center. And then the center of the board is this target's left position, which is this position, plus the width and half. So that's the center of the board, and that's what we get here. All right. Now the thing is, how do we calculate this rocket's position? And we also want to see where it lands. So that's going to be the interesting part here with the physics. But we are going to look into it in just a bit. So how do we calculate the distance between where the ship dropped versus the center of the board? So we can easily find that by doing something like we can say const distance, and here we can say something like the center of the board. So center of the board, and then we can do minus element center. Okay, this one. So that gives us the distance between the rocket and the board itself. So once you do so, you get the distance. But the thing is that this could be in negative or positive. So if we do L center, then we also have center of the board. Then we also have console.log the distance itself. So now let's see when we log this out. So here, I want you to use the drop command on Twitch and drop some emojis, drop some other things as well, and you will see those flying in. So here you see that here we got the element center. Here we got the distance. Now see that the center of the board is 652. Where the element landed is here, right? And the target board offset is right now here. So target board offset or offset left is 552. So this place is 552, which means the center of this request should be somewhat here. So it should be less than 552. So if I have a look at the element center, it's 535, which is slightly less than 552. So it's quite close. So now we got the element center, the center of the board. So the element center is 535. The center of the board is 652. And the distance, since we are negating this, is 116. So 106 is the distance right now. Okay. This one is going to be a bit different. Let's see. So this exactly landed on the board, but it would be calculated somewhat here. So here, if we go forward, we see that the client offset left of the target board is 552. So this point is 552, which means that it has to be a bit more than 552. So element center is 595, okay? But it's still near this place. So the distance becomes center of the board 652 minus 595. So it's quite close. It's 56 pixels. Now the thing is that the more the distance is from the center, the more it's going to be in terms of distance and the lesser the score would be in this case. So when we go forward and see, you will see that the distance here is this. Now the thing is that how do we calculate how much percent this is? So when we want to calculate this, we are going to obviously do some math. First of all, we want to check if the distance is within the radius. So let's say if a rocket comes and drops somewhat here, then that means that we don't need to calculate the score at all because the element or the rocket did not hit the dart. But if the rocket hits the dart, that means that it was within this radius. So this is a 100 radius dart board where the rocket is landing. So if I do something like drop or exclamation drop, you see that it's gonna, if it drops right on the board, then we are interested in it, just like this. So this was a really good drop. So here, if I go downwards, you will see that the distance is going to be less than 100 because that is the radius of whole dartboard, and this landed within that. So center of the board is 652, which is this in terms of pixel position, and this element center is 676. So here the distance becomes minus 24.5. So first of all, it shouldn't be minus, so we are going to fix that. It's always the distance which is in the positive one. But still you see that it's 24.5 and it's lesser than 100. All right. So first of all, we are going to fix this to make sure that this is not in minus, and we can do that by using math.absolute. So whether it's negative or positive, it's just going to take the number. Second, if the distance is less than 100, then we are interested in console logging or in calculating whatever. So we are going to do something like if the distance is less than or equal to the radius of the board, which is target board radius, then we are interested in something, otherwise we are not. So here I'm just going to save this and we are going to refresh this, and then we'll see what happens when we do so. So here I'm going to just go ahead and drop a couple of rockets. So I'm going to say drop, drop, drop. See what happens. So here, none of the rockets are actually hitting that. So try again, try hitting the rocket itself. So you can try doing a drop, you can try dropping an emoji, you can try dropping your own avatar, whatever. Try to make sure that your rocket goes and hits the target. Let's see. So this one hit the target, right? This particular one hit the target. And there we go. You see that the distance was 13.5. Okay. And it actually hit the target in that case. So how do we calculate this position on in terms of how much points does a person get when they hit the target? So in order to do so, what we need to do is we need to do some calculation, and that would be obviously we are going to find out the distance, and then we are going to divide it by the total number, and then we are going to say something else. So here, let's say we do something like const. We are going to say score. It's gonna be, what's gonna be? It's gonna be distance. So the distance between those two, and it's going to be like 50, 60, 100. Let's say the distance is 60. So that means that it's 60% of the score. So instead of 100 points, we are going to say 60 points. So here we are going to say distance divided by launch radius, or we are going to say target board radius, and then we are going to multiply this with 100. So we get a percentage, right? So we divide this and then we multiply by 100. That's how we get the score. finally we would say something like console.log. We are going to say hit, and then we are going to also say something like username, since we already have the username, and then we'll say score. Okay, so here we got this. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to display the scores now. Let's see if we can do this. So now if you try to do the same thing, drop, let's see if someone hits it. Let's try now. So at least one of these should hit the target. That one didn't. That one did not. That one did not hit the target. Come on, let's go. Let's hit the target. We got so many people. Oh, there we go. There we go. So you see, I hit the target and it got me 38.5 score with the whole calculation. Okay. I'm gonna actually put a breakpoint here, so whenever someone hits, we can actually debug that really quick. So we do drop LUL. There we go. So here the distance is 59.5. That means the score is going to be 59.5 as well. And the reason is that the radius that we have is 100. So that's why multiply by 100 divided by 100, that kind of equals it out. So we have this score right now, which is distance 59.5. So we got the username, we got the score, and we see a message hit. But would it be awesome if we could also send this message in the chat from the bot congratulating the person who hit the target, right? That would be awesome, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to have this client. So we already have this variable called client, which is essentially this client. Where is it? So this client, which is a Twitch client, and then we can say client.say, and we can use the username. So we can say client.say, and then here we can give the channel. So we get the channel, which is the username of the person essentially, or the channel, whatever you want to call it. And then we can say something like wow at, and then here we can say username. So we could say username, and here we could say you hit the target with the score, and here we could say score, right? So if we do so, let's see what happens. So let's try this now. Let's try the drop game again. So if I do so, let's see what happens if I can hit a target. There we go. So we hit the target. Let's try this once again. Let's see which one gets it. So you see, there we go. So we got this one, and here we got the score, which is 95.5, pretty good score. And this one is actually here. See, there's a problem with our logic. And the distance is 95.5, which means that the distance is huge, but we are giving them a score of 95.5. This has to be the reverse. The further the rocket drops, the lesser the score should be. All right. That means that we need to subtract this whole score from 100. So it's going to be 100 minus whatever you have. So let's see in this case what the score gets. So we are going to try it now again. Drop LUL. Let's see. So this one LUL is gonna drop. Perhaps no, it's not gonna. Let's try this once again. Maybe this one is going to go there. Yeah, this one is going to go there. Now look at this. It's really close to the target, which means that now the distance or the score is greater. So it's 74.5 now. So here we got this, and we see the message as well, right? So let's do one more thing. We're gonna show this score on the screen in this overlay, and we are going to show it in some sort of a div where we could show this score for the users. So in this container, we got the framework container. We are also going to have something like, we are going to say this is going to be score board. All right. And in this scoreboard, we are going to have some sort of scoring. So in this case, let's say we get a particular scoreboard, and here we could say something like score board item. All right. So in this item, what we would have is something like username and then a score. So we're going to have something like scoreboard item username. All right. And similarly, we are going to have the score here. Okay. So let's do this. So we are going to have this, and then we are also going to show the username here. So here, let's say the username is SidBen, and here the score is, let's say, 100. So we are first going to style it, and then we are going to convert this into an actual working example. So here, let's see. So here it's going to be, let's say, CodeWithAhsan, and here let's say the score is 74, okay, or 75. So you see that we can show the score here. This should also be displayable on the overlay, but it's not really pretty. So what we are going to do is we are going to style it really quick. So first of all, we are going to give this a fixed position. So here we are going to say something like global, because I'm using Svelte, but you don't have to do this essentially. So I'm going to say scoreboard item, or actually first I'm going to style the scoreboard itself. So we are going to have this, and then we are going to say it's going to have a fixed position, or position fixed, going to be fixed. Then it's going to take left 20 pixel, or top 20 pixel. Then it's going to take also some background. So we are going to say background, and also going to say take some padding as well. So RGB A, it's going to be 0, 0, 0, and then it's going to be 0.5, and it's going to take some padding. So it's going to be something like padding 20 pixel. So if we see now, you see this scoreboard right here. You should also see this on your on the Twitch overlay as well. You can see it on both sides. So this is the app, but that is the overlay there. And I closed all my windows somehow. There we go. There we go. Awesome. So here you can see this logo here, which is cool. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to, let's see. So this guy here, now I want to be able to allow these all elements to be something like, so I would have a heading just like this here. So this one is going to also have a color of white, so we can see the text items there. Then also this is going to have a heading. So here in the scoreboard, we are going to have a heading. So we are going to have a H1 or H3, let's say, score, something like this. So if we do this, you can see the heading here. This heading itself has some padding. So we're gonna not have a padding of top. We have the top left, top right, bottom left. So it's going to be 0, 20 pixel, 20 pixel, 20 pixel. All right, let's see. So here I'm going to just put this. So we got the score here, we got some margin here, and then we got these items. So these items, these are going to be of class scoreboard item. So I'm going to style those now. So it's going to be global scoreboard item. This is going to be display flex, and the align items is going to be center. Then the justify content is going to be space between, and that's it. And now we have this score. All right, I'm gonna also give this a bit more width, so to say, just to have this clear. Or we could also have this margin of this username, so, or this score. So we're gonna have this score having some style. So we're going to say something like global scoreboard item score, and here we are going to have margin left of 16 pixel. Okay, so we get some spacing, you see, or maybe 100 pixel, or maybe a 50 pixel. Now 50 pixel is okay. So we got sidband with this score, CodeWithAhsan with this score, and each item that we have is also gonna have a margin bottom of, let's say, 10 pixel. So it looks something like this. Okay, so now that we see this, we can add this information into, or we can generate these scores right now using an array. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an array here, const score list, and here I'm going to have this as an array. Then whenever we have the score here and someone hits the target, we are going to add that score to the UI. So we are going to have a function that we can call. So we can say something like add score to scoreboard. All right, so here we need to provide the username and the score as well. So we are going to just do this. Oops, it's going to be equals, it's going to be an arrow function, and this is the score list. So what we are going to do is first we are going to try to find if this score already exists in the UI. If yes, then we are going to replace that. Otherwise we are going to add it. So we can simply say const find or existing score index equals, we could say something like score list dot find index, and then we could do something like score item, and we could say score item dot username equals username. So if we have this sort of condition, and I'm not sure why my prettier config is not working. Let's see. So we do format document with prettier, and we don't have the prettier config. That's sad. I'm gonna have to import this from some project. So let's see. We should have it from Rocky. How's it going? Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How is it going? We should have it from the ngbook code. So there should be a prettier configuration there. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste this here. Let's save this now. And it doesn't work. So we save this with prettier. Oh, it cannot be used for spread files. Okay, that's fine then. Now it did somehow. Interesting. So calculate the score. It goes inside. Come on. So here it is. Then we do add score to scoreboard. Does this glass reduce the blue light? No, symptom. If you type exclamation glasses, you will understand why I am wearing this. So I am actually wearing this because of an infection, an eye infection. So these are not special glasses at all. So we are going to add the username here and the score as well. So it's first going to try to find the index. Then if we have the existing score, so we are going to check if existing score index is not equals to -1, then we do score list dot add, and here we add the username and the score. Okay. Otherwise, if it's not -1, then we have to modify it. Otherwise we need to add this. and it's not add, it's called push. What am I doing? So if its index is not -1, then we are going to do score list index equals and then this. Okay. Oops. And whenever we do so, then we need to re-render this whole scoreboard. That looking good on me? Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So we need to add this now, and we also need to re-render this whole scoreboard. So here we are going to create a function. We are going to call it render scoreboard, and this is going to just take every item in the list, so every item in the scoreboard, and it's going to render that right here, as you see there on the rightmost corner. So we are going to create that just like this. So we are going to do something like scoreboard. First of all, we are going to have to remove everything from this list. So we are going to do scoreboard, or here the scoreboard item. So first we are going to remove everything from the scoreboard. So we are going to do something like document dot query selector all. Then we are going to do this. So we get every scoreboard item, and we do for each item dot remove. So we can remove them from the view. Then what we are going to do is we are going to do this. And then what we are going to do is when we add to scoreboard, we add it, then we essentially need to do score list. So we take the score list, then we run a loop over it. So we do for each, then we get the score item, and we generate a new element for this scoreboard item. So we are going to do something like const L equals, we are going to say document dot create element, and here we're going to say a div. This element is going to have a class list dot add. We are going to add the class exactly this scoreboard item. So we are going to add this scoreboard item, and let's see. So here we should have this just like this. So it should have then a username and the score. So we are going to do this, or actually I'm going to copy this scoreboard item, render scoreboard. So we are going to add this class to this. Then we're going to say L dot inner HTML equals, and then here we can give this this div. So here we are going to do this, and then we are going to say this username. Then here we are going to say something like score, and then here we can simply say L dot or we could say document dot query selector. Here we have the scoreboard, so we can say scoreboard, which is this guy here, and then we can do dot append child element. So once we do so, I think we should be good. So this is score item, we should get these values out. So const username score equals score item, and then we should be able to do this. So render scoreboard is okay. All right, I think we are good actually. So let's see. So I'm gonna comment this out, and I'm also going to make sure that the scoreboard is only visible when we have elements to show. Okay, so this is gonna have a class of hidden, or I think it's also something like hidden if we do something like true or not, or is it something like this? So when we do hidden equals to true, what happens? Let's see. So this is not being shown right now. If I do false, it doesn't show as well. So if I don't have this here, then I show it. So what we are going to do is that we are going to have this this case here when we have the score being rendered just like here. So where is the function? Render scoreboard. So if we have the score list, which is here, if it's here and we have empty array, absolutely. So if score list dot length, if it's 0, then what we need to do is we need to just say this is scoreboard, which is this. So we can simply say dot set attribute or add, I think it's set attribute as far as I remember. Oh, it's gonna be scoreboard. It's gonna be, oh, I have one problem here. So it should be query selector. So query selector scoreboard dot set attribute hidden true. If that's the case. If not, then we are going to remove this. So we are going to say const scoreboard equals this. Then we are going to check scoreboard dot set attribute hidden true. Else we are going to say scoreboard dot remove attribute and hidden. All right. We can also use the same variable for this part as well, so we don't have to repeat everything. And I think we are good. So let's see. So first of all, I'm going to render the scoreboard whenever the application starts. So there should be a main function as far as I know, or maybe not. Let's see. So here in the animate L, we don't have it, but I'm going to call this function right here. So interesting. So render scoreboard is here, and this should have interesting. Let's see. So render scoreboard is here. So we got this here. Refresh. Why do we not have this function called? Oh, it should be actually here. Refresh. All right, so there we go. We got this. We came inside, we checked the length is 0. So we are going to apply the hidden true. So the scoreboard doesn't show now. What? Let's see. Okay. So it is not available at the moment. Interesting. Let's see. So in that case, let's see. When we have this game ready, maybe I think that's when we should do it. Let's see. So we have sleep here, and we have client on message, which is okay. Then we have drop, calculate score, render scoreboard, animate dropped. Okay. Can we apply the onload method here? Maybe we can. So if we do something like this, can we run this? Let's see. Render scoreboard, and there we go. No, it doesn't. So onload only applies to the document, so to say, but this element doesn't. Let's see. So if I want to do svelte on component init, so we have on mount, which we can use. So we got script, photos, blah blah blah. There should be an on mount from svelte, and we can use that. Okay. All right, so we can do an on mount just like this, and then we can use this instead. So here we are going to say on mount async, or we don't need to do async actually, but we just need to provide a function, and in here we should be able to call render scoreboard, and this should be this. So I need to remove this and save this, And let's see if this fixes it. Yeah. So in this case, we do have the scoreboard. So we should get this scoreboard. Okay, we are good here. Then because here, scoreboard is here. Set attribute hidden true. That's cool. And now it's hidden. Boom, there we go. So now let's try this out. So drop, 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 lol. Let's see if someone lands there. There we go. So now we got one rocket that's essentially targeted this. So if we go forward, it adds this to scoreboard and renders the scoreboard. There we go. We got this. All right, let's go. Let's try to hit the target, everyone. Let's try it out. So if you hit the target, then it's gonna take it. It looks like it's too slow on the Twitch overlay. Is that so? Should I increase the speed of it? Maybe I should increase the speed, right? Yeah, it seems too slow to me. Let's increase the speed of it. Because on the browser, it seems good, but I think when it's huge, then it becomes different. Yeah, it's a bit slow. Yeah, I know. Let's fix that. So I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna increase the velocity. So minimum velocity is minimum x velocity is 1, minimum y velocity is 2, or max x velocity is 2. Maybe increase this to, let's say minimum should be 2, maximum should be 3, minimum y could be 1, max y could be 2. So it's almost double now. Let's try this out now. It looks good now? I think it looks good now. Yeah, there we go. It's faster. It's funny how many people can hit this. I think I also allowed to use multiple drop commands. For instance, you could do, if you use multiple emojis, I'm not sure if it allows you to drop all of them. No, it just allows one of them. I think I changed it. So emoji ID, emojis, oh, I do have the slice here. Let's remove this. Let's allow everything. So if you use a single message with multiple emojis, you're gonna have a lot more events like this. There we go. You see? Let's go. Let's try this out now. Use as many emojis as you can right now and see if you can hit this. that emoji, you got to use that with the drop command, and you can use multiple now. So I'm going to use something like drop. Seems good. This. All right, ready, go. So Sid, you got 35, I got 70. I still am leading with 55. So we're good. We got close though. Maybe we should be announcing a winner after we have done this, right? Or I can actually copy this. Can I copy your emojis as well? Yeah, I can. there was a place where I saw a really huge floating number, like 43 point blah blah blah. I don't know what it was, but I need to make sure that when we have this, we should also always have the score to fixed, supposingly. So this score that we are adding to the scoreboard, it should always be fixed, or using to fixed to 2 decimals. So here in this scenario, we would have to have something like this, but also something like this, and then to fixed 2. So it's always going to be yeah, a 2 fixed, so to say. All right, let's try this once again. Let's do this. There we go. Yeah, definitely. If I use a lot more emojis, it increases my chances. I'm gonna have to there you go. Yeah, this one looks promising, Sid. Ooh, 67. It's close. It's a lot close. And you see it sends you this message as well. If you see towards this right side, this here, the bot also sends a message with the values of the numbers as well. So that's cool. We got the scorecard as well. We got also some other stuff right there as well. Awesome. So I think I'm going to stop it right there. This was an interesting implementation of this whole code. I'm going to probably continue and look into more ideas for the next stream. Maybe we are going to build something with this from scratch using vanilla JavaScript as well. But yeah, let's think about it. And in the meantime, I'm going to also start working on my courses. But yeah, awesome. Any questions before we wrap up for today? There should also be a logic here that after a while it should hide the whole gameplay, so we are not showing that. So whenever someone tries or starts the gameplay, then we show it. Otherwise we don't show this gameplay, right? Maybe we need to do that, but I'm going to look into this more further. Awesome. What if you can add a leaderboard? That's a good one. So you mean we should have a top scorer? How many people would you want in the leaderboard? Would it be only one, or would it be a lot of those? Top 3. Interesting. That's a good one. So, okay. And should we show that in this overlay manner, or should we just show that in the Twitch message? What do you think? Is showing that in the message enough? Or should we be showing that in the leaderboard somehow? Because I'm just wondering if there would be too many things on the UI. So it could be leaderboard as well. You think in the overlay? I'm just thinking if we add that to the leaderboard into another overlay, it might be too much information on the page. Maybe. We could do that on the leaderboard for sure. Or we could do something like show the leaderboard using a command for a while. Whenever someone says leaderboard, we just show it for, let's say, 3 seconds or 5 seconds. How about that? Would that work? Just put it instead of the score. But then, so isn't that what we have right now? It is sort of a leaderboard, right? So it would not be, I'm thinking. So there's a thing that you might want to have a leaderboard only for the people who are top 3, or you might want to have it for everyone who is playing. So we could let's say we could do something like this. We could have this game running for a while, and when, let's say, someone stops, let's say we start this timer, someone starts playing, we have this drop game, and then after a while we stop and we announce the winner. We would also have this leaderboard, which means that we are going to save this information into Firebase, and we can then fetch that information from Firebase and then show this to the users. If we have this leaderboard just like this, and there's one more thing to talk about that we have not yet, and that is this should also be sort of how do you call it? This should also show the scores based on, I'm thinking, it should be based on who has the higher score as well. Right now we have scores, but they are not sorted per se. So we should be having this score list sorted first, and then we should be showing that. So this is sorted list, this is score list that we have. We essentially should be having, whenever we are rendering this score, some sort of like this. So when we do add to, or we render scoreboard, this score list should be sorted. So we could do something like, let me think. If we use array.sort, does that modify the original string? So if we do array.prototype.sort, does it modify the original string? So it returns the sorted array default, or yeah, we don't need to do that. We also need to have a comparating function, which essentially returns sort B before A before B. Yes, so essentially this is what we want. So if we do something like this, we're gonna do something like const sorted score array equals, we're gonna do something like scoreboard, or not scoreboard but score list dot sort, and here we're going to provide this a function. Oh, it's Isha time already. Awesome. So let's say if we have this, then we are going to do something like, if we have A and B, then we are going to say if A dot score is less than B dot score, then we should return -1. Else, if A dot score greater than B dot score, then we should do return a +1. Else we return 0. So if we do this, then we should be able to just do this length, or actually let me see, this should be done after this, just like this, and then I should be able to use the sorted score array just here. So if we do this, then now I should be able to see the scores according to the numbers, I believe. So let's see. If I do this, if A is less than B by some number, then no, it should be reverse actually. This should be, it should actually be different. So it should be greater than B. So if A is less than B by some ordering criterion, Yeah, we can quickly check this out. Let's see. So if I do this, go here, inspect, let's add an array real quick. So here I should be doing this. So const score list equals, let's say we got score 100 or 20, and then score 50 or 60. And then if I do this, then I have sorted scored array, and that should have 60 and 20. All right, so this is the right logic that I wrote. Sounds good. So this is gonna be this, and I think we're good in this case. So we first have to sort them, and then we just have to show them. So if I do this and a couple of other things as well, it's gonna go and just hit the target and show the score. And then once we have that score, we would also make sure that we have that stored into Firebase. Right now we don't have that. So on Firebase, all we right now have is the image of everyone who uses it or calls the drop me command. So here the Firestore database only contains, it's not CodeWithAhsan, we should be looking at helped me. So in this here, oh sorry, we should be looking at CodeWithAhsan, my bad. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, interesting. I have to change it like this. So here we got the chat followers, and here we got all the followers and their images. So we need to have some sort of scorecard or a scoreboard here where we would have this this information of the leaderboard itself. So we can simply have a leaderboard where we could save all of this information. So let's say we have, should we have this into a user manner or just as an array? We could have an array as well, but we could also have a collection where we could add this in the leaderboard. And then in terms of sorting, when we come back, then we should have those things as well. So top 3 is what we are looking for, right? Okay. And we're gonna be doing this logic or the sorting actually into a separate function, so we don't have to do it again and again. So we could say something like const sort score sort array by score, and then we would have array here, oops, just like here, and we are going to return this from here. So we are going to say sort array by score here, and we can simply say score list, and that's it. It should now work exactly the same. So I think we have this. I'm gonna probably stop here, end today's stream, and I'm gonna take some rest as well. I've talked a lot, and then we are going to continue working on this later on the leaderboard, probably on Wednesday. So let's do that on Wednesday, and I'm going to see you later. Thank you everyone for joining. See you. Allah Hafiz. No problem, Sid. See you. Have fun.